I'm taking my hat off, y'all. Oh. I'm in one of the 40-foot greenhouses. Say hi, greenhouse. Look at my pansies. And I wanted to talk for a minute about a question that I get asked a lot, which is, how big of a greenhouse do I need for me and my family? And it must be a huge greenhouse, Caleb, because you have 10 greenhouses. Well, it is true that I have 10 geothermal greenhouses, but I'm out of control. I have so many greenhouses for 3 reasons. Number one is because I'm completely out of control. I'm out of control. And I love greenhouse gardening. So much easier to grow in the greenhouse. Polar Bear has joined us and is drinking out of the water. Polar Bear, can you say hi to everybody? Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Say hi. Polar Bear, say hi to... Oh, there you go. Polar Bear is pretending to be a good dog right now. But he can be naughty. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, I have so many greenhouses because I'm out of control. And I just enjoy it. And I have the room since we are on an acre and a half. And also, I use mostly recycled materials to build my greenhouses. Like, people give me lumber, and I get lumber free from people that are building houses and going to throw their scraps away and stuff like that. So I haven't spent that much money on these greenhouses, except for my first greenhouse cost $2,642, and that is more than the rest of my greenhouses have cost me combined, because I have been very frugal, because they say if you want to stay married and be out of control, then you have to be out of control very frugally, and so that's what I am. The second reason that I have so many greenhouses is because I do greenhouse consultations, and so I have to have all the sizes to show people. And the largest size that I would recommend building for safety reasons is a 40-foot greenhouse. And then I have all the way down to the smallest greenhouse, which is a 4x8. And you just don't know, because I do a lot of greenhouse consultations, you don't know the size that a person needs depends on how many people are going to be living at their house, how many people are going to be eating out of the greenhouse, how passionate they are about growing out of the greenhouse, the reasons for having a greenhouse, the size of their property, the location that I approve for the greenhouse, because I approve the location because it has to be in the right spot for everybody. So you don't need that many greenhouses, but I have to be able to have all these greenhouses so that before people can decide the size and type of greenhouse they want, they can come and stand in person inside my greenhouses and see the difference between an 8-foot greenhouse or a 12-foot greenhouse, or a 40-foot greenhouse or a 4-foot by 8-foot greenhouse, and they can decide what is best for their family, and then I provide them with the plants. This is starting to sound like a sales pitch, but it's really not. And then I'm just, because people say to me, oh, look, I love the greenhouse back there. People say to me, well, how big should I go? How much do I need? Well, my wife and I just live here at this point, and at some point there were a whole bunch of kids, and there are still a bunch of grandkids, but they're not really living here. So now it's me and my wife and my friends mostly that eat out of the greenhouses, and then I own a seed company. And if you know anything about growing seeds, then they have to be pure. They cannot be cross-pollinated, and that's another reason why I have so many greenhouses, is because I cannot sell seeds that are impure having been cross-pollinated. I cannot sell Black Beauty zucchini that has been in pollination, that has been in flower at the same time as a gold zucchini or a cocoselle zucchini or a green zucchini, and also because zucchinis are peppos, they also cross with most of the pumpkins and most of the winter squash and most of the summer squash as well. And so none of those things can be in bloom at the same time and me still able to sell the seeds. So you don't need 10 greenhouses is what I'm trying to explain. If you have a family of 2, and you're not that into greenhouse, you're not that into gardening, you just want self-reliance, and you're not really planning to grow exotics and just have some space to play around with and have fun in your greenhouse, then you might want just a 4-foot by 8-foot greenhouse. And if you like to start your own flowers and you want something a little bit so that you have more room to play around with, then the smallest size I would say is an 8-foot by 16-foot or an 8-foot by 12-foot, because you can fit one perpendicular row of growing boxes in per 4 feet of space in a greenhouse. And then if most people, I would say 90% of the people who come to me build the largest greenhouse that they can build without having to pull a permit from their city, which is for a hot greenhouse a 16 by 12. And for a cold greenhouse is a 10 by 20. And that gives them room because it's so much easier. I tell people it's so much easier to grow in the greenhouse that you don't want to go too small, because it's pretty much the same amount of effort to build a 16 by 8 as it is to build a 16 by 12. And the amount of more money that it costs for the materials is just a little bit more, maybe $100 or $200 more. And so you might as well build something that you can grow into, because if you are a person who grows every year because you love to grow things and you love to eat fresh, then you're going to want a greenhouse that you can have a little more space in. So let me know in the comments if you have questions about the size of greenhouse that is appropriate to a particular family, or if you're having trouble deciding for yourself what size of greenhouse. Ask your questions, and maybe I can make a video to respond to questions, and also just say hi again to the greenhouse. And it would make me super happy if you would be kind and supportive by hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.